Hey guys, Matt here. This is the Interact Mega Memory Card for the Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Pocket systems. It was released in October of 1999 with a retail price of $19.95. This is not my original one, but I did get one soon after its release from Blockbuster Video. Does it look familiar? Maybe you had a Game Shark for Game Boy at some point. The shells are identical, with the color being the only difference, and they were both created by Daytel and distributed by Interact. I lost my first Mega Memory Card years ago at some point, but a few years back, I picked one up at a video game convention for a ridiculously good price. In the past, I used it as a way to have multiple saves in Pokemon Blue. Blue is better than Red, just stating the facts. I didn't think much of it when I lost my original one years ago, but upon seeing it at the convention, I knew it would serve a new purpose for me. Today we're going to be removing a battery from a Game Boy game and using this incredible tool to back up the save before swapping the battery. The Mega Memory Card has a few options to choose from when you boot it up. Backup, which backs up the save data of the game currently plugged into it, but you get to create a unique name for it, which is great. The restore option allows you to restore the save with the press of a button. Delete will remove the selected save from the Mega Memory Card. Options is pretty straightforward with only 4 listings to choose from. I personally leave icons and unique names on. The sound option adds a pretty annoying ding to every selectable icon in the menu here. Inverse applies a negative flip to all colors. Next, the erase game save option wipes the existing save from the cartridge. This could come in handy if a save becomes corrupted, preventing further progress in a game. And last, we have reset, which nukes all saves and settings from the Mega Memory Card. The save and backup function is of course the main use for it. Not just for multiple saves, but it can be used to save your data prior to a battery swap for games like Pokemon for the original Game Boy. Replacing the battery as a precaution is a good idea if you finally caught them all, which we've been told we have to do for a good part of our lives at this point. If the battery has already perished, you would not see a continue option when you start your game, where in this case, a battery replacement is absolutely necessary in order to enjoyably play the game. Ever beat all 8 gym leaders and the Elite Four in one sitting? Yeah, me too. Let me show you why this card of memories became my secret weapon when replacing batteries in Game Boy game cartridges. For starters, boot it up and choose backup. Turn the system off when that completes. It should take no more than a few seconds. Replacing a battery in a Game Boy game is a great way to get into soldering. It doesn't take long, and it's not too difficult. Now, I'm speaking from experience, as one of the very first things I've ever soldered was a Game Boy game battery. The tools needed for this are a 3.8mm game bit driver, anti-ESD or electrostatic discharge tweezers, a soldering iron with a thin tip, solder, and a replacement battery. Next, remove the screw from the back of the game. Remove the board from the plastic shell. Place it on a flat, non-metal or conductive surface. I'm using a silicone mat here. Heat up the solder from one side of the battery's legs and pry it up with a pair of anti-ESD tweezers. Heat up the other side and remove the battery. Take a quick second to clean the soldering iron on your solder station's included sponge or steel wool. Granted, you're watching this prior to doing all the work. Make sure the sponge is wet but not soaking wet. Set the new battery in place. Apply some solder to one side, then of course the other. Make sure it's all nice and covered. The orientation of the battery is very important. The positive side of the battery is labeled with text physically on it, and the negative side of the battery has nothing on it. The legs attached at each side determine where on the game board the battery needs to be connected. Make sure when soldering it that the circular battery fits right within the outline on the board so that when you close it all up, everything fits. At this point, we should be ready to test it out. Turn the game on and start a new game. After the intro, make sure to save. Turn off the system, turn it back on, and check your save. This will confirm that your battery is good to go. Remove the game and plug it into your Mega Memory card, if you have one. Turn it on, choose the restore function, and find your original save. Press the A button to load it up. Once that's complete, turn the Game Boy off. Flip the switch at the top of the Mega Memory card to your left, which will bypass the memory card menu and boot straight into the game. You should be able to load up your original save that we created prior to swapping the battery. At this point, you can turn off your Game Boy, take the Mega Memory card out, take your Pokemon game out of it, and plug it back into the system, and embark on your adventure. A quick note on Pokemon Crystal for the Game Boy Color. The battery in Pokemon Crystal is used for the RTC, or real-time clock feature. It's what keeps time and allows the day and night cycles to occur so your berries can flourish. And that's it. You've either removed the failed battery or avoided a certain death and saved all of your Pokemon. The Mega Memory card is currently about $50 on the resale market, which is pretty expensive for what it does. I use it mainly when a friend contacts me asking for a battery swap as a just in case. The earlier Pokemon games are over 20 years old at this point, which means that the batteries are too. Now keep in mind, Pokemon games aren't the only ones featuring batteries, but they are the most well known. Some others include Super Mario Land 2, the Donkey Kong Land series, and The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. As I said before, soldering a battery for a Game Boy game is a great way to get into it. After practicing on a lot of Game Boy games, I eventually moved to consoles. Capacitors, resistors, backlight installs, even fixing broken traces on boards. Lots of things can be fixed by yourself with a little practice at soldering. But let's talk about that in the comments. Have you ever soldered anything? Is there anything you want to solder but just haven't taken the jump yet? Leave a comment below and let's chat. Let's bring out the inner hardware enthusiast in you. I hope you found this video helpful and informative. Thanks for watching, and make sure to save that data. Take care. Pokemon Blue is better than Pokemon Red. Fight me.